is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
To return some videotapes. 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 Videotapes.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Strange Glow Video. My name is Justin. With me, as always, is my co-host, colleague, brother, person of interest, depending on what you're talking about. Alec, how you doing?
Person of interest sounds like a criminal case.
I know.
It's a person of interest in the murder case of Laura Palmer.
Exactly. Guilty. He's
I've been
guilty.
watching Twin Peaks, so
Yeah. Yeah, it's the time of year to do that. If you started right off on February 24th, then you're ready.
yeah. So that's about it. That and working and living. Put out a video on my channel today talking about Leprechaun 3 on VHS.
Oh, yeah? How's that?
Pretty good. One of my favorites.
Good stuff. The first Leprechaun's pretty good.
I like it better than the first and second one. 3,
Yeah.
4, and 5 are my favorites, and those are
Okay.
the direct-to-video ones. It's funny. But 3 is Vegas, 4 is in space, 5 is in the hood. So it's like those are iconic as fuck. A friend with weed is a friend indeed.
Yep, that's good stuff. Pretty silly. So, yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day today, if you celebrate. My wife is got a lot of Irish heritage, so that means my daughter does. So we've all been celebrating, and then my boys have Irish heritage as well from their mom's side. Good stuff. Good stuff. But me, I don't know. We're mutts. I've never done our genealogy. I know we've got a lot of German ancestry from what I've heard from, but beyond that, I have no idea what's on our dad's side.
There's also Finnish.
Yeah.
And Native American, but it's small amount. Like at most 1/16th at most, or 1/32nd.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath on that, but yeah, we've heard that too. But I think a lot of people hear that too, just to feel less guilty about.
No, I don't think it's to feel less. I mean, I don't say it to feel less guilty.
No, but I mean, I think a lot of Americans say that, oh, I've got Native in me, and just to feel less guilty about the genocide that happened here. But that's a topic for another day.
If I really had Native American in me, I would ask people, do you have any Native American in you? And they would say no. And I would say, do you want some?
I was waiting for you to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just over a year ago.
Look how white I am in this.
Yes. You're still very pale, though.
I like to keep it that way.
Well, considering you avoid daylight at all costs, that
Dracula
adds up.
vibes.
Yeah, so just over a year ago, we saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire world premiere in New York City, which was a unique experience. Our second Ghostbusters world premiere.
Do we want to chronologically talk about it, and then when we get to the movie, talk about the movie?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're really just kind of celebrating the year anniversary here, so we can kind of talk about highlights of the trip and just remember it as we go through it if you want.
What's I mean, I don't want to start too early, but like some of the plane ride and weird stuff that was going on was mildly interesting. We got up really early. I don't remember. I stayed up.
That happened last time too, when we went for Afterlife. So,
and then we just like went walking through New York City again. When we eventually got there, I remember we got to the airport and we were trying to determine how to get to our hotel. And well, we couldn't get to our hotel until a certain time. So we got to kill some time too.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we got to this. Somebody was talking to this guy either in line or in the plane or off the plane. and we ended up just kind of following this guy who like lived in Harlem.
Yeah, so that's Charles Fincher. So Charles Fincher actually made the ribbon cables for the '84 style ribbon
Well,
cables for the movie.
I'm not talking about Charles Fincher. I'm talking about the guy that lived there.
Yeah, but he was talking to that guy.
Yeah, okay, that's
He
right.
was talking to a local because I saw Charles and I shouted out Charles just because I recognized him, and then we kind of followed him into the city, and he took us into what, Harlem area?
Yeah, because we
And
walked past the
The
Apollo
Apollo.
Theater and stuff.
That was really cool being able to walk through there, and weather was absolutely phenomenal there that day. Just a bright, sunny day, perfect temperatures just to be walking around.
That's a Ghostbusters adjacent site right there because Arsenio Hall used to do his show out of there, and he was on Real Ghostbusters.
Yes, he was. He was one of two voices of Winston on the show. Buster Jones was the other.
Yeah, so pretty interesting. And then we ended up walking from Harlem over to Columbia University, which was longer than I think we thought, but like, that's New York for you. And
Yeah.
then we did all the usual stuff there. Did a video about Spider-Man, took a bunch of photos, obviously.
Yeah. Recreated the peach schnapps scene where they're talking about the Capitol and sitting around there. That was a good little spot.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember exactly what we did next.
I think at that point in time, we kept walking. We went over towards Central Park, and then we were going to just try to walk to our hotel. But by then, we'd already walked quite a ways. And so we just said, fuck it, and got in an Uber and went to the hotel and got checked in.
Oh, that's right. That was a pretty cool hotel, too. And location was good.
Yeah, and then I think we determined our sightseeing after that based on where we wanted to go in order to go to the pre-party.
Yeah. So,
but we hit up the library because we had time to hit up the library kind of at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was for sure. We did the library, and we
some,
realized they closed the gift shop and all changed that to a different area.
Yeah, that was a major bummer. They were closed early, but I'd had stuff from last time, which is fine. But always nice to be able to treat yourself to a gift if you want.
Yeah.
Then we went and had some pizza. That was good.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then after that, we went to the pre-party. I don't even remember what place it was at because it was I wouldn't say it was the layout was smaller, so I don't know if as many people were able to go as the first.
It was a 2-floor building, and we were only on the second floor, to be fair, also. So
yeah,
it's kind of sort of like a rented space. It's a pretty small space, but like it worked enough. I mean, it would have been nice to have a bigger space, but you do what you can.
Yeah, so that was the YHS private party they hosted and held, and saw so many excellent people there. And then obviously we had some great visitors stop by. That was pretty incredible. The number of people that stopped through that party.
Yeah, who all was there? McKenna Grace and Logan Kim came by.
Yep.
So that was fun.
Our fearless director stopped by too.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And I was able to give him a World's Fair coin, personally handed off to him. And then we had our goodie bags again this time, and so many people had so much awesome swag to trade for. Like, I came home with so much awesome stuff from that party mostly.
Yeah. I actually won. They threw some gift bags out of the crowd, and I caught one of them too.
Oh, yeah. What was in that? I forget.
2 of the Hasbro Reaction re-releases and 2 of the Fright features, or I guess they were
they called them
Fright. The original Frights, though, that they re-released, right?
Yeah.
And then 2 of the newer wave that wasn't called Fright features this time, but was the cartoony style ones.
Yeah.
And then like 2 of the little Firehouse Slimer ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the little blind boxes.
Yeah, and there was, I think that was it. Maybe 1 or 2 other things. The Hasbro bag itself was cool.
Yeah, that was a dope gift bag.
The next morning we went to the Firehouse, though, right?
Yep.
And that was fun, of course. We knew it was going to be. We had kind of the couple days leading up to the trip, we had seen them start to convert the Firehouse.
Yeah.
while we were heading out there, and we were like, shit, that's awesome.
Well, yeah, and some of our friends got there early, so Kip Marshall was out there early getting the Ecto ready for the premiere and everything else, and he'd sent some behind the scenes shot to us of them setting the firehouse up, which is pretty awesome to see.
Yeah.
Like, we just didn't have time when we got in, because we got in on what? Sunday, and the premiere was on Monday.
I don't
Again,
remember,
right?
to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's how it went. I'd have to just recollect, because I think the premiere is Monday and the release is Friday, I want to say. So,
And then that was pretty cool. There was some interesting stuff going on there. I remember the IC people had some interesting stuff they were handing out, but also there was a guy there with posters, but he wasn't like handing them out. And this is still burned into my skull because it was just so weird to me. Like, why did you bring like a stack of 100 posters to an event that you're not going to be giving away? And why are you holding them? It was goofy as fuck.
yeah, that was pretty wild, wasn't it?
I just wanted one so badly that it just threw me off too, because I was like, that's weird. Not to sound entitled or anything, because it's just a fucking poster or anything. You don't have to give me one or anything. It's just goofy.
Yeah, I think we did see some awesome stuff there, though. The fact that they had the Mercedes Sprinter van there
Yeah.
with proton packs in it, they're letting everyone go get like close-up looks at and shots of. And I want to say all those are stunt packs, maybe. They're all the foam stunt packs. I mean, they still looked excellent, so they're used in a lot of the stunt shots. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are awesome to see that.
There was Cheetos representatives there.
Yep, they had Cheetos out there doing their marketing and all that. And that was fun.
I think later on, McKenna Grace and Logan Kim came, but we were gone by that point.
Well, we
It
got
seemed
there.
like everything was pretty chill and dying down by the time we decided to leave.
Yeah, we left there after spending several hours there. I mean, we were there for quite a while, and then we decided to go get something to eat. And then, we hadn't seen the movie yet, obviously, so we went and saw the fire hydrant and a couple other filming locations where the Ecto one's driving through New York City. We went and saw some other filming locations for Frozen Empire, even though that was just a trailer-only shot of the fire hydrant, but we still went and saw that where that was done, and pretty cool to see there.
Yeah. The premiere was that night, huh?
Yeah, so that was an action-packed day, because by the time we finished that, we kind of had to hustle back and get ready. And then there's always, I mean, it was like this last time too, but there's like almost this level of panic of just trying to get into the theater.
I hate it because everybody feels it too. So it's a massive group of people just trying to get the best seat possible and make sure they get all the possible equal amount of goodies. And
Well, the crazy thing there was that they had one line for everybody, and there was people that were like red carpet, so they were supposed to be kind of in there early because we're going to be there as the obviously celebrity guests arrived. And once they realized that they hadn't let everybody in for that yet, they kind of hurried us through the line and got us in there really quick and got the fan pen loaded for the red carpet.
Yeah.
Which was inside the theater. And then some of our peer podcasts and everybody are in shows and websites were out on the red carpet actually doing interviews. So YHS is out there with Experience Explorers pretty close by, and Extraplasm was there helping GB News or Ghostbusters News, and AJ Quick from GB Fans is helping the YHS crew. So, I mean, it was pretty epic time for everyone that night. I mean, it was just wild.
Yeah.
And I think we were trying to live stream YHS from inside on the in the fan pen.
Yeah.
But man, we had so much good footage when when everybody came through. Like, what did we get? 8 or 9 autographs on our sheets?
Yeah, I'm looking at mine right now. There's James Acaster was the first one we got, I think.
Yes.
He came through, and that was cool. What else? Who was next? I don't remember who's next, but either way, Logan Kim was on there.
Yep.
Eric Reich, who is a producer for the film, and if people who don't know, Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
which was sick. We got to actually say words to Paul Rudd.
Yeah, we got to talk to Paul Rudd just briefly. Carrie Coon.
Which was one of the ones I wanted the most. So stoked for
Yeah.
that.
Emily Allen Lind, who played Melody, was there. And then Ray Parker Jr., Gil Cannon obviously came through and talked to us, which is awesome because so at the private party we were at, most people were kind of trying to play it cool and not be asking for autographs the whole time. That way, anyone that showed up just didn't feel like they're going to be hounded for autographs the whole night.
Yeah.
Which I think most people I saw were pretty respectful of that. And then some of the guests were a little more willing than others to do that, but I just didn't want to,
Right.
I didn't feel it right to push it. So it was just like, yeah, let's just be in the moment. And so that worked out pretty well for us. Ray Parker Jr. came by.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So yeah, well, it was a damn good time. We saw Bill Murray come by. Dan Aykroyd came through. It didn't sign anything, at least for us. So we were kind of in this U-shaped area. And so some of the fan pen was like right on this corner where they got to see everybody walk by. And so in order for us to see them, they had to go out of their way and walk by our section, which, a lot of people did. So I was pleasantly surprised with that. And Mr. Jason Grahowski was standing there with us the whole time and keeping us company. So we had excellent people all around and nearby the whole show.
Yes, indeed. I was trying to find I have a picture of all these autographs labeled because I don't even fucking remember. I know we talked about them all already, but now I'm like curious.
Oh,
Which ones are which? Okay, here I have a label.
Oh, Jason Reitman came through as well because I just recognized his on there.
Yeah. James A. Castor, Paul Rudd, Logan Kim, Ray Parker Jr. signed right in the middle.
Yep.
Emily Allen Lind, which was cool. She was in Dr. Sleep too.
Yeah.
That was fun. Then you bought a trap and I bought the cup of the mini puffed. We got some ices and stuff. I think the ices were free and popcorn or something.
Ices were free and like some basic treats were free. I think everyone was hoping for another round of Ecto Cooler, but mixing it up, I liked that it was different.
Yeah.
Same movie theater. And that's a pretty nice AMC. I like the layout of that one.
Yeah, they do lots of movie premieres there.
Yeah.
Lots of big New York ones.
Yeah, I wasn't originally planning on buying the Ghost Trap popcorn bucket, but it was the last one they had. And I was like, well, shit, I'm at the premiere. I may as well buy this. It has a little souvenir there. So,
yeah. And then we saw the movie.
Yes.
How is it holding up a year later?
So I watched this a couple of days ago. I watched it on the year anniversary from when we saw it. And I like this more now than I even did then. I'd say it holds up really well for me. I enjoy it a lot. The fact that I'm familiar with the story now, I'm still noticing new details and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's really adding up and making it a lot of fun.
I fucking hate it. No, I'm just kidding. I enjoy this one more than Afterlife still.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Afterlife just has this heavy tone to it. And
I don't think it's bad. It's just this was better. Yeah.
You had to get through that story to get to where we are. I mean, in theory, you probably could have skipped it, but people have been going like, what the hell? To have something like that going on here.
Yeah.
But I mean, this movie is a fun ghost-busting movie start to finish. Right? We start off with our first throwback to a different time period, which is pretty cool. Going back and seeing the firehouse at the turn of the century.
Mm-hmm.
Not the 2000s, but the 1800s to early 1900s.
It's a different take for a Ghostbusters movie too. First time we've seen that. Which I like some of those opening gags still make me laugh, like the hand turning the thing still. I like that severed hand.
The practical effects they put into this movie looked amazing. I was really happy with those. Liked how all those turned out.
And then
I mean, just as I think about this whole movie, I know a lot of people were really like, "Oh, this movie's so crowded." I'm like, the more I watch it, the less I'm bothered by any of the things that, like, at first viewing had me concerned.
yeah.
Would I like to see more James Acaster? Yes, but I also realize, like, that just leaves us somewhere else to go. And you don't have to just do another Spangler family movie. You have enough characters, you can do something else if you so choose to do so. I just said that redundantly. Don't mind me.
I like how it starts and they're already in the middle of a bust. I know they did the comic series that's sort of I haven't read all of those, I'm not gonna lie. I just kind of didn't feel like it, but I do like that we're just kind of skipping ahead a little bit. Not too much. And the dynamics with Walter Peck being introduced again and some of that stuff you might think, okay, well, how are they going to introduce Walter Peck? And some people would think it's unrealistic that he's in the position that he's in now, and I don't at all think that. It's kind of makes sense. So
When you look post 9/11, really, because that movie doesn't even really touch on any of that, but someone that's from the EPA in New York City already, post 9/11, post Ghostbusters disasters, all these types of things, right? A lot of that feels pretty natural for him to be there and in that position.
yeah,
So it doesn't seem all that far fetched to me.
and we get the Ghostbusters being talked about on the news, which shows us clips from Ghostbusters 2 with the Statue of Liberty, as well as the Kenner commercials for some of the toys.
And it was all specifically the role play toys
Yeah,
to make it in canon, like make it canon that all those toys were released as part of the Ghostbusters craze then,
right.
which I like that. Felt pretty authentic.
It's fun enough.
But
It's
I
kind of
mean,
like
this,
introducing the song in the second Ghostbusters movie.
yeah,
It's just it's
exactly.
no different than that. So
Yeah, you're just taking something from real life and putting it there because you can, or because it makes sense to the story you want to tell.
now, would have been really funny as a reference to Ghostbusters 2 is if their patches that they wore in this movie all were frozen over, like the logo. That'd have been asinine as fuck. This
That
makes
would have been-
absolutely no sense.
That would have been hilarious just to troll people. Yeah. And then there's tons of new characters in this movie, and then tons of characters we already know and love. And we get a little bit of everybody, more of the original Ghostbusters for sure than the last time around. And I think they all did a great job. Bill Murray's hilarious when he's interviewing Nadeem.
Oh, that's a great scene. Yeah.
I mean, that is peak Bill Murray right there. You know, they're throwing the pens at him, and then we see the fire flaming up behind him. It's all the little things you notice. They just get better with every viewing of this movie.
Yeah. Obviously, Winston and Ray are in it a little more than Venkman, but I think they do a great job. I like that Ray is like tempted into doing some shenanigans with the kids, and we get that whole library scene, which is just a great scene in general.
Yeah, the library scene. Obviously, there's lots of stuff going on here. We see Phoebe running into Emily Allen Lynn's character as a ghost and not being scared by her, which kind of pisses Melody off. She's like, "What? You're not scared?" She's like, "No."
Yeah.
It's not the reaction you're expecting when you're a ghost messing with someone at the tables out there in the Central Park. And that's near the fountain, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the it's near where this isn't healthy. Smoking isn't healthy.
Yes. Independence Day, yeah, the chessboards or checkerboards. I mean, I guess they're just out there, so anyone can use them. But
wait a minute, Dave. This isn't checkmate.
Checkmate. Yeah, man, it's pretty wild. Excuse me a second. Don't know if it's allergies or another cold, but man, I am congested as hell today. So we got that going for us.
This is my lap.
Look at that.
He's babing it up.
You're all set. You got good company then.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this story, but they brought in a lot of new elements to the storytelling style, which is nice. I really liked.
It fits though. Like you're
Yeah, no.
progressing, and there's things you're able to notice that are like new, but they fit the universe. And it's like a lot of people complain about new stuff being introduced in franchises and movies, and it's like you have to think about it from a different perspective. Like even just like Star Wars, for example, like the original trilogy,
Mhm.
they introduce new stuff in every one of those movies. Empire Strikes Back and
Yes.
Return of the Jedi. Crazy, weird shit. And they they have to continue to do so with the other stuff. That's what you do. And it's the same thing with the Ghostbusters. They introduced slime blowers like psychomagnotheric slime, a bunch of new interesting shit.
Yeah. And the Easter eggs they threw in this movie are crazy. But my favorite thing is they're not. I mean, because in Afterlife, there's some things in there that were annoying for some of the Easter eggs. They're just too in your face about it. I like the Easter egg hunt where I got to go finding shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like one scene that I noticed, because I just recently built a basement diorama with a Mattel containment unit, which getting ready to shoot a video on that here pretty quick. But when I was researching that, I was looking at Frozen Empire, and then I was looking at Ghostbusters. And there's some differences in the basement there, but there's also a lot of similarities. Obviously, there's a few things that are drastically different. But when I was doing all my screenshots of that, I noticed there's a slime blower cannon sitting down, or not a cannon, but just the blower part of the slime blower sitting down in the basement of the firehouse.
She's gone from suck to blow.
Yeah. Another great Rick Moranis film.
Mm-hmm. The Rick Moranis is a sex position. Did you know that?
No, what's it involve? Or can we say on here?
Or at least the reverse Rick Moranis. When a girl puts on a strap-on penis and anally penetrates a man with shaggy hair, it's called reverse Rick Moranis for the reversal of sex roles. The shaggy hair, which provides the girl with something to hold on to, the high pitch of the man's voice after the act, similar to Rick Moranis' voice.
Oh, Dana, it's you.
Scott. Example in dialogue. Scott says, "Man, Nick, you don't sound too good." Nick says, "It was Katie's birthday, so I let her reverse Rick Moranis me."
Very nice. Okay. Well, you learn something new every day. Thanks, Internet.
Like if someone says, "Chuck Berry me," that one just means play with my ding-a-ling. So.
Well, yeah. Oh, my ding-a-ling.
Oh, Dana, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rick Moranis was one of those that you're holding out to make just like some random appearance in one of these movies when you go and see it. But
I was okay that he wasn't in here.
Well, I think it would have just been funny to see like him pop up in a cameo, not even necessarily with like a bunch of dialogue, but like during one of the ghost montages or something. He's just like there in New York City. I'd have been fine with something like that.
It'd have been fucking hilarious if they just had him walk around and not even like have a line. Like he just passes through somehow, and like you're just supposed to notice him. That's what that's the cameo I'm in for. Like he's just in a background shot somewhere.
Or let a modern porn star walk through.
Yeah, hopefully one that's not a criminal too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
how is Michael Jackson, and have you touched him lately?
That's interesting and scary all at the same time.
I'm just updating all the jokes from these movies. Obviously.
Yeah, you have
to. Says Flight 93 just arrived.
Yeah. That's the obvious one there, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are sensitive to that, but I'm like, Ghostbusters 2 made a Titanic joke.
How long do we have to wait?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're going by Family Guy rules for someone that was supposed to be on one of those flights, he went.
He waited like 3 years.
Yeah, he was pretty quick at it. Didn't wait long at all.
There's even the joke where Brian says like some guy's pissing him off and he's time traveled back to the 80s and he's like, "You want to fight? Fine, we'll fight. Meet me on top of the World Trade Center, 8:30 8 a.m. or whatever he says at
Yeah.
September 11th, 2001, and we'll fight." Fine, I'll be there. You think I'll forget? I won't.
It's twisted, but it's funny. Dark, but funny. Yeah, Kumail Nanjiani was fucking great as Nadim, the Fire Master.
Yeah, I was laughing at his stuff really hard in the trailers, and the scene where he's just interacting with Ray and like subtly asking for more money and shit, and just like, oh, there's no way I can part with that for less than $50.
Yeah, I just love how they're making all the sex jokes about his Dada, his
Oh, yeah.
grandmother. And he's like, "Oh,
He
you
says-
hear that? It's quiet in here. These changed." He's like, "You don't think you could use?" Oh, that's just so good. It's so good.
There wouldn't be chains in a sex dungeon. I realized right when I said it.
Yeah. Don't do that accent again, though. That's not becoming of you.
I can't help it. You gotta imitate
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. No, he's fucking great in that. And all the little details, right? They got the Manhattan Adventure Society Zippo that they're using. So much good stuff they added to the lore in this movie, which I really liked. The proton packs, they got some new upgrades too, which is from the research lab after the other ones are taken. The only one that's not is the Spangler pack that Phoebe keeps under the bed. So
fancy.
And then when we talk about it, when I first saw this, I was kind of like, oh man, this doesn't feel like we saw enough of Garaka. But in watching it, I'm pretty good with it. About as much screen time as you get with Gozer and Vigo, right? It all kind of adds up. The threat builds up, so
pretty much.
Then the other ghosts are fun too. Like you got Emily Allen Lynn is like someone that is relatable for Phoebe, but then you also have the Possessor ghost, which is pretty fun. Some of the other ghosts that are down in the research lab on display are pretty fun. That skeleton looking thing is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Like looking, like not to me, but like for a younger viewer, that's one of those things you're like, oh, okay, yeah. So Ecto 1 got possessed, reused the containment unit there. I do love how that is going on, where Peter's just like, Ray, I don't know. He's like, just do it. He's just so frustrated with him at that point.
Yeah.
You know what we could do? It's like, I don't care. Just get it done. Winston. I really wish there's a little bit more Winston in here, but it's still fun. Like when he's in there.
Yeah.
Him and Ray having their argument and then like still being friends through it all.
Classic.
Mini Puffs I think they're mating. Right. Ray smuggled them back from Somerville. Okay.
I guess.
Yeah. Like, I thought we saw them all get destroyed, but if you say they weren't, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff in there. And then we even got the mid-credit scene there for the Mini Puffs still terrorizing everybody.
Yeah.
Stealing the Stay Puft truck. So that was fun. I mean, I had a really good time with this movie. Like, it's fun start to finish. Like, I just, what I'm really curious about, just because as a grown-up seeing this and loving Ghostbusters my whole life, like, what were the reviews from, like, a younger group of people? Like, the kids' age, the prime audience, what did they think of this? Was it scary? Because to me, as a kid, I always found Vigo way scarier than Gozer.
I don't know. The thing is, I've come across other people's film people's opinions who aren't Ghostbusters fans, and they are not fans.
Yeah. Well, they just don't get it, right?
No.
It's not for them, so.
They're the kind of people that are like claiming people forced their agenda on this movie if they thought these teenagers were having a lesbian relationship or the budding of one. They lost their shit and were like, you're forcing your politics on a movie. They're friends. Okay, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, and who cares either way? Like, this girl's lonely. She wants a friend. She doesn't
Well,
relate
that's
to a
the
lot of
thing.
people.
It's not in the final cut, regardless, but I still feel like it's clear, like on a small, like a innocent level,
Yeah.
and it's good.
Yeah, no, it works. It gives Phoebe a lot of character arc, a lot of character growth for her, which is awesome. Trevor doesn't get a crazy amount of story arc in this one, but it's still good. Like, he's 18, so he's running his mouth about that, and then he finally gets to drive the car after joyriding in it in Afterlife.
Yeah.
And, he also has his little thing with Slimer, which I thought was pretty fun.
Well, that's what people say. This one feels a lot like a real Ghostbusters episode, and I will say, even like Trevor's plot feels like ripped out of an episode.
Yes, and I'm
Like
good with
if
that,
this
though.
was a cartoon, it would be like one of those episodes where Trevor wants to drive, and he thinks he's a full-grown adult now that he's 18, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end, he learns that he isn't, but he's on his way, and they learn to accept it, and they give him the keys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and there's a lot of characters in this, and I would say, do you let them all breathe more? And I'm like, the more I watch this, the less I'm concerned with any of that. The more I watch this movie, I just enjoy it for being a really fun Ghostbusters movie.
That's what I'm saying. It's fun. Afterlife is good still in different ways, but I think this one's just funner to just throw on and have a good time watching a Ghostbusters movie. Throw on Afterlife, you're like, I'm having an existential crisis here. And
Yeah.
instead, I should be thinking about ghosts giving blowjobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I love Afterlife for all the new characters that are in there.
No, it sounds like I'm trashing it, but I'm not. I like it. I just like this more tonally for a Ghostbusters movie.
The rewatchability of this one is definitely way better than Afterlife, just because Afterlife, you got to deal with the loss of Egon, and you're dealing with all these other things, and Jason directed that and really made it. It feels like an indie movie with some special effects scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to that point, though, I feel like that's where some of these small details that bother me, like, why are they crossing the streams? That still irritates me every time. I'm like, there's no portal, there's no doorways to shut or reverse the flow of polarity.
Yeah.
So why do they do that? It doesn't make any sense to me, but that's fine. And
I literally felt that way immediately when we were at the premiere and I was seeing it. I was like, what? God, is anybody else seeing this shit?
Yeah, no, that was one of those things that that alone is probably my biggest complaint in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like, that just didn't make any sense. Yeah, that's fine, right? No movie's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
So, but I love that movie. Besides that, and I've still watched that movie a ton.
Yeah.
And it's just nice, It's 2025 and we've got 5 Ghostbusters movies to watch.
Plus a couple series, and we'd have Extreme Ghostbusters to watch in its entirety on home video, which I will mention also. There is a Leprechaun episode. I recommend checking that out today if you haven't.
Oh, yeah, that's a great episode there.
Mm-hmm. It's basically just the Leprechaun, like from the movies, like, honestly.
Yeah, because he's a little jerk.
Yeah.
And he's not cutesy looking either. He's kind of grotesque looking. Very much influence from the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's good. We supposedly have some more series in the works, right? An animated movie, an animated series. Haven't heard much of an update on those, but I'm not stressed on those. Like, it's been a good time to be a Ghostbusters fan. Frozen Empire really scratched that itch. I think when you look at the numbers, Sony could easily do another theatrical release. They spent a little bit more on this one than they did on Afterlife, but they didn't blow the budget out of the water here.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept a pretty tight budget. Box office in the US and worldwide wasn't setting records, but the home video releases where this really did well. It was one of Sony's top performing on demand and digital purchases and DVD and Blu-ray releases and everything from last year. So
yeah, I feel like you could do one last Ghostbusters movie and finally take a villain out of the cartoon series and just do Boogeyman. I know he's not a ghost, and I don't care about that, but that's maybe everybody's favorite. And if you're not going to do him, do Boogeyman or Sam Hain. Sam Hain, I would equally accept 100%.
Yeah.
Because that would be such a great movie to do, like a Ghostbusters epic Halloween movie. But Boogeyman could actually be scary, especially if you have the younger cast. You could give that whole like Egon trauma to someone else,
Yeah.
like Phoebe.
Yeah. Someone that hasn't quite outgrown that yet. Yeah.
Or just do the Sam Hain thing again. Like, let's be honest.
There's some pretty easy choices there, right? Some of those classic villains.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even remember what I rated this last year when we saw it. Do you
I don't
remember what
either.
you rated?
Nope.
For me right now, on today's day and age, I'm going to say 8.5 or 9 out of 10 for rewatchability for me, just because I have a lot of fun with it. It's got all the Ghostbusters stuff I want. It's got the humor in it. It's got other stuff in there, and it's got some heart, some things you expect from Afterlife. It carried some of that stuff over. And it's fun. It's really fun to watch.
If Ghostbusters is a 10 out of 10 and Ghostbusters 2 is a 9 out of 10, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, it's probably an 8 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
And while I'm at it, Answer the Call is probably a 7. And so is Afterlife, probably. Probably right on this par with each other.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I'm going to rewatch Answer the Call maybe a little more just because it's funny and it is a certain vibe and it's nostalgic now for that time in my life of 10 years ago of when I saw that shit. So,
Well, yeah, you got to realize that this year is the 10th anniversary of that movie.
it's the 9th, right? It's 26.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But still, that's like 9 years ago. God damn.
Yeah. We've had 3 Ghostbusters movies in less than a decade.
Yeah.
Think of it that way. Pretty fucking wild.
Yeah.
And they're still doing so much with the brand. I mean, like, look at all the stuff that they've got coming out. You know, the HasLab Ecto 1s. They got all those Mondo figures coming out, which are... Those figures look so fucking good, but I just can't spend the money on them. I've got way too many other things to prioritize.
For sure.
I'll probably regret that later because, you know, the markup on those is going to be fucking insane, but nothing I can do about it now. So,
yeah, if I was to go for anyone, I'd have to go whatever you have to do to get Boogeyman. But
yeah.
it's because I have 2 Sam Hains. I have the one with the kid with the Janine, and then I have the Extreme Ghostbusters one. So it's like,
Oh, yeah.
that's good enough.
Yeah. No, and I will say, like, yeah, the Mondo stuff looks great. It's 1/12 scale, so it'll fit pretty close with your other figures. But they're just so boutique, and I don't know what kind of numbers they're running. Obviously, it's way fewer to be at that price point, I feel like, but the paint jobs, I think, are what cost the most on that. Because if you've ever done any, you know, I've been doing some custom figures here recently, and painting that shit in small detail is a pain in the ass. So, you know, I respect it. A really quality paint job on a toy like that's fucking difficult. But yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty good time to be a Ghostbusters fan. I mean, everyone got their 2 in the box stuff. Still a ton of other stuff coming out, new books. We'll shout out Troy Benjamin from Crossrip and Craig Goldberg have their Real Ghostbusters book coming out this summer, which looks awesome. Should be pretty interesting to see. And what else? Oh, the next comic miniseries is coming this year. So I mean, there's plenty of merch in the works, and you know they got another full Ghost Trap coming out from Spirit that has what, a smoke kit and a pedal on it now. So kind of trying to compete with that HasLab stuff.
Well,
So
I wouldn't call it even competing with it. It's just a response to it for sure, because the original, it's not like we can go out and buy that now.
no,
We can get it off secondhand for sure, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to get the Spirit one and be happy with it. I'll maybe make some paint modifications as usual, but some stickers maybe, but that's about it.
Yeah, I know that's fine. I mean, because it's the thing is that's nice is there's stuff at every price point for every fan right now.
Yeah. I remember just we had nothing. I remember when we were excited that they had inflatable proton packs.
Yes. I mean, we've been doing this for so long. I remember when Kmart's started going under in the early 2000s, and there were fewer and far between. And when we were living in Memphis, the closest Kmart was like 45 minutes to an hour away from us, and we just never fucked with it. And then when I moved to Arizona, we went out and found those Ghostbuster shirts. And that was a big deal at the time. You know, that was what, 2008?
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, so 2008. That was crazy. Like you're driving all over for that, you know?
Yeah.
And so merch was few and far between then, right? You know, I mean, you had a couple of sites that were dedicated to that. Proton Charging was dedicated to that.
I had so many fucking shirts from Proton Charging.
Yeah.
Like, I still have a couple of them, but man, I wore them to the fucking ground.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was always posting the news of where you could find these things. And then my biggest regret in all that, though, is that Hot Topic was carrying a lot of Ghostbusters shirts at the time, and they did a Ghostbusters 2 shirt when I was living in Phoenix, and I was just so fucking broke. I couldn't, like, it was like, oh, should I really go spend $30 on a t-shirt when I'm like fucking working part-time and going to school? Like,
yeah,
you know, it was one of those things I didn't get, but you know, all good now.
Yeah, there was some fun stuff out over the years.
Yeah. Still is plenty of stuff. Now, the toys were definitely lacking for this movie. The toys they did release were pretty fun. You know, we got the drone trap with Gary and Callie and the new version of they called the fright features for the Afterlife version. The interesting thing about this is none of the toys said Frozen Empire on them anywhere.
No.
Even though they were themed like with that in the backgrounds and the icy firehouse and stuff like that, which is clever marketing. So,
yeah, I was disappointed that there wasn't something more. And the Plasma series is just one of those things. It's like I thought they were going to go all the way with. So I was buying everything they were releasing, and now I'm just like,
yeah.
I have a bunch of partial sets and no complete sets of anything. And that's how it's going to be, because I'm never going to give enough of a shit now to sell one off and finish one.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like the Maddie Collector line was very thorough, very big line of toys. And I have a lot of those figures, but they released just so many different versions of it. They had the collector's version of it. They had the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives that the chances of me going through and recollecting all that are pretty slim. Like I've got what I've got and I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
And then I've got pretty much everything Hasbro's released since then, since they took the license back over. So, yeah, just interesting because now that we got these Ecto 1s coming, like the secondary market for the Diamond Select figures where you could build the firehouse facade are just fucking insane. Like just so expensive. Like I'm surprised we haven't seen people come up with like 3D print your own version of that stuff yet, because you know you're going to want to have that. If you got a full-size lights and sound Ecto 1, come on now.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. We'll see. I mean, I just don't know what the general market is for Ghostbusters like in the stores, right? I think kids liked them, and so they wanted that younger kids line. But at the same time, like when you're a kid, which Star Wars figure you don't want to buy? The one that looks like it did in the movie, or you want to buy the cheaper one just because your parents get that for you, right? Probably depends on who's buying. You know, are you going to go? And that's kind of where Ghostbusters was. You know, you've got two lines. You've got a collector's line and then you've got a cheaper line. Like if you weren't splitting these lines so much, you'd probably have a little more leeway, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
So many new shirts. Like Middle Beyond just released all that new shirts. The only thing I was really interested in out of their releases was that Ghostbusters rug. That logo rug looks fucking awesome for the size it is.
Oh, I haven't seen that, but that sounds dope.
It's like 4 feet wide, I think, at its widest point. It's really nice looking. Because I got one in one of those like Ghostbusters crate boxes a while ago, and it's just a circle rug, and I've got it under my guitar stand. It looks nice there too, but that was part of a bigger package, so it's not a perfect rug. It's mass produced, kind of cheap, and this Metal Beyond one has a real high quality look to it. So
Fancy.
Yep. Have you added anything to your Ghostbusters collection recently?
Not that I know of. No, the last thing I got was the 4K Steelbook set.
Yeah, I wound up getting the 4K Steelbook and the Blu-ray Steelbook just because I like the different covers they had. So, and considering I've got Ghostbusters on so many different formats, only seemed to make sense to do the same thing with this.
Yeah. I'm looking at their Ghostbusters rug.
Yeah, it's pretty sharp.
Yeah, I don't like all the. I can't wear all like the button-up shirts that just have Ghostbusters like patterns on them. They're just not for me. But Ghostbusters wallet, icky. Also, kind of too much. The ceramic mug. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, they do some pretty cool mugs. There's some fun
Throw
stuff out there.
blankets. I like the tote, but $50. That's a little much.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just picked up from Chris Stewart of Proton Charging. He had a Ghostbusters first release Ghost Core cadet pin. And so I was able to snag that from him. So he hasn't shipped it yet. We just made the deal today. So I'm very excited to have that piece in the collection, though.
Are you now?
And he never wore it, that I could tell. Chris is never been huge into wearing the flight suit all the time. I know he has one and doesn't wear it a ton, but pretty nice to be able to pick up something like that.
Fun indeed.
Yeah, and then I'll be gearing up for Planet Comic-Con on Friday this week. If you're in the Kansas City area, that's our big con. I didn't really see any Ghostbusters guests on there that I looked at this year that I noticed. But we got Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future, which I don't have any signed Back to the Future stuff. I don't know if I want to go down that rabbit hole right now. We'll see how the line is. My number one priority, though, the only autograph I have to get on Friday is Helen Hunt to go on my Twister Blu-ray, or not my Twister Blu-ray, but my Twister.
How much is her
Laserdisc.
autograph?
Don't know. I didn't look it up yet.
Well, I might have to, depending on whose lines are going to go into, I might try to send my Twister VHS along because I'm going to probably have to work.
Yeah.
If you're already going to be in her line.
We'll see what we can do. Yeah, so I was telling everybody, it's like, wow, I've already got a nice Twister signing going on in this Laserdisc, so adding her would be perfect.
Yeah.
But if I get Christopher Lloyd, that's the first Back to the Future one, and then that becomes a whole other thing. So
it certainly does. But that's one of the hard ones to get from Back to the Future too. So I mean, he does a lot of cons, but also like not as many inland like this.
Yeah, I feel like most of the big cons, like people hit on the coast all the time because it's easy to do or promote out there. So we'll have to wait and see, but hoping to get that Helen Hunt added onto that Laserdisc here because that would be real nice, Clark. Real nice.
Her autograph pricing is $100. Photo op 110, table selfie 100, combo autograph selfie 180. God damn.
Yeah. Well, I don't need a fucking picture with her. I'll just get her autograph. But yeah, that's expensive. But I mean, I feel like a couple of years ago that would have only been $80, but with the cost of everything going up, I feel like that just flies up too.
Yeah.
Which, it is what it is at this point. So, but yeah, if you're out Friday, I'll be at the Midland Empire Ghostbusters booth for a little bit, doing some work there. I think I'm going to break out the engineer suit again, since that's the newest one. Wear that out. Undecided at this
Fun.
point, though. It's always good to gear up, though. And I haven't been doing it nearly as much just because I had a ton of other stuff going on. So I haven't been able to get out in the community and do much. But, it's all good. Oh, well, what else do you got for us?
That is about it.
That is about it. I will say, when we talk about going to that whole trip out to New York, so we've done 2 premieres in New York, and they're both awesome. Both great trips. But I got to say, after we had Afterlife, like we were waiting for that since 1989.
Yeah.
Like the emotional baggage of just the release that was, seeing that movie with other diehard fans from all around the country and around the world for that matter, was very cathartic. And this was just a lot more fun overall because we didn't have this crazy amount of anxiety of like, what the fuck happened between then and now. We were like, okay, we know what we're kind of getting into. And that made me, or that allowed me to relax a lot more for this trip, or for that trip. And I gotta say, it was a real good time. Our friends Jacob and his wife Megan went along for the trip, and it was you and me and them, and yeah, we had a good time, and we ran into everybody we know out there. So
Yeah.
allergies are, it's cold, whatever it is, it's killing me, man.
Damn.
All right, well, let's wrap this thing up, and we'll see you back at it next week. So
Alrighty.
please subscribe and like if you haven't already, and we'll see you back here soon.
Good night, everybody.
I'm gonna have to say good night.